folks, welcome back to another Pokemaster video, and today we're gonna talk about Red and Snorlax, right? So Red and Snorlax dropping this reset, right? So this reset, they will be in the game, and this reset, I will also be streaming my summons live, as usual, right? So make sure to tune in. It should be fun, right? Should be fun, and I don't know, I just like Red. I like Red, and it's gonna be fun. However, me liking Red aside, let's actually talk about this unit as it is, right? As a unit. So, first of all, obviously, if you like Red, I know a lot of people like Red. It's hard being a Pokemon fan and like not liking him. Obviously, there are there are Red haters out there, and it's fine if you don't like him. I'm just saying, I'm assuming a lot of people like this guy, right? So, if you do like Red, if you do like Snorlax, right, you should, again, my number one advice every time is suggestion is just summon for your favorite characters. 90% of the units in this game are either good or very, very good, right? At least in terms of just clearing content-wise, right? It should be very, very easy for that. So and Red is no exception, right? A very, very good unit, but we'll talk about in terms of, is he really worth summoning for? If you personally don't really care about Red as a character or Snorlax, right? If you're just wondering how is this going to help my account, my team, in terms of how it's going to help me clear stages, or just how good overall of a unit it is, right? So let's talk about him. So just a quick overview. Right, so Red Snorlax, normal type, support, right? A lot of people say, oh, normal type. Dude, who cares? It's support. Who cares what type it is of support? I don't understand why people get hung up on, what type of support is. Like, the ramifications of a support typing is not very that big of a deal. There are obviously some implications, maybe some certain teams type skills, maybe weaknesses sometimes here and there, but overall, not the biggest deal in the world, right? So Red Snorlax, again, weak to fighting, obviously that's the only thing normal is weak to, and it's normal type. And going over the stats, HP, 698 HP, which is a lot of HP, right? That's a lot of HP. You have 224 attack, which is not a lot of attack. You have a lot of defense, 268 and 288 special defense, a lot as well. Your speed is not very good, right? And that's going to be a big thing for Snorlax, and definitely Snorlax, one of Snorlax's biggest weaknesses is the speed is just not very good. 239 speed, not very good. And if you look at his moves, he doesn't have any 1-gauge spambles either, right? It's all 2-gauge moves. You got Body Slam here, 30% chance of paralysis, 2-gauge move, right? Normal type. Mini Potion All, which is a AoE potion that only heals half, right? So it's kind of like Erica's train move, except half of that, right? But you do have 2 MP over here. 20% for your whole team. Rock Smash, which debuffs defense, right? Or 50% chance too, unless you pick up on a roll, which is then 100%, which is fighting type. And then you have the trainer move You and Me, which reduces sync move countdown of all allied sync pairs by 1, raises an ally's crit rate by 2 stat ranks, applies a super duper or super effective up next effect to an ally. Alright, your sync move, heaviest sleeper, normal impact, doesn't really do anything. Passive's max regen, applies the gradual healing effect to the user after using its max move. Team Alert Mind raises defense of all allied sync pairs by 1 stat rank when the user's HP drops to half or below. And then Group Moral Support has a chance, 50% chance of raising special defense of all allied sync pairs by 1 stat rank when the user's trainer uses a move. I'm assuming in this case it's the trainer move. So these passives are just terrible. I guess the regen thing's not bad, but like these two, like, oh wow, these are bad. Because this is it doesn't say once per battle, so you could probably do this multiple times, but you're probably not gonna do this multiple times, right? And this, even though it's a 50% chance, it's when your trainer uses a move, so it's not gonna trigger when you use like Body Slam or Rock, but it's just gonna be like You and Me. This is the only like trainer move, right? So you have like 2 chances to get like +1 special defense for your whole team, which is not the best, right? So Going on to its sync grid, he does have some stuff on his sync grid, right? He has Flag Bearer 3 at 3 out of 5, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 3 out of 5, he has Flag Bearer 3, which 40% chance of buffing the attack of all allies increased by 1 stat rank when you use a move. You have Group Therapy 9, when you use a max move, it cures status conditions for a team. Raises defense by 2 after you use a max move for a team as well. NPR 2 on your training move, unfortunately. 100 power up on your Gmax Replenish. 100 power up on Gmax Knuckle. Move gauge refresh 3 on Rock Smash. On a roll 1 on Rock Smash, so it makes Rock Smash 100% guaranteed deep buff defense. Adrenaline 1, Antitoxin Quick Cure, Mass Healer, and Mini Potion also turns 20% into 30%, which is still 10% less than regular potion. And then MP Refresh 2 on your Mini Potion all. And your 2 max moves are Gmax Replenish and Max Knuckle. Gmax Replenish restores MP of the user's moves, and then Max Knuckle raises attack of all allies and compares by 2 stat ranks. Which is fine, right? So here's what should I talk about the good stuff first or the bad stuff first? I guess we'll talk about his weaknesses first, right? Because I guess those are a bit more easier to explain. So Snorlax, while being a very, very good tank, right, he can be used in longer battles, but he's not that great in longer battles due to, again, the glaring weakness in his speed, right? His gauge management is just poor, right? Very, very slow speed. All 2 gauge moves, right? Doesn't have much else in terms of like speed wise stuff. You have the move gauge refreshes. They're move gauge refresh 3s, which are better than move gauge refresh 2s. But outside of that, you don't really have too much, unfortunately. I guess you could always steal 1 turn with a max move, right? Because those don't cost gauges. But again, that's only once per battle. So yeah, you are going to have some gauge issues that you have to deal with. So even though, again, theoretically you think, oh, a good tank has potions, all this stuff, you'd think it would be good for long battles, but I'm not sure about that, because again, speed is going to be quite a bit of an issue unless you just specifically run a team that helps alleviate this issue, right? Which is, again, gauge management, speed, etc., right? So that's definitely one of his biggest weaknesses. Another one of his weaknesses is he's just not that great of a buffer, right? Like, he just doesn't do much buffing for support, which most supports generally they're here to buff, right? So what he does is he does have the crit buff, right? But it's only 1 unit on your team, right? It's only, it's not your whole team's crit plus 2. It's raising an ally, which is not the best, right? Kind of like Singsu Lisa's breathtaking. This actually does remind me quite a bit of Singsu Lisa's breathtaking. Yeah, I mean, that's not the best. I don't know what else to say. Would have been nice if it was for the whole team, but it's only for 1 ally. You could make the argument that, I mean, most units, they would have at least 1 +1 or +2 crit, so you could, use one on one of your damage healers and then use another on your other damage healer. Although I also don't know how effective that would be, just because of, again, how slow Snorlax is in terms of his team comps and all that stuff. So that's also a bit of an issue. Again, like, his only, like, if you don't get him out of 2, 3 out of 5, he just doesn't have offensive buffs outside of your Max Knuckle, right? Which, in my opinion, is not that good. You should probably looking to, be used, because you could only use 1 per battle, right? I think Gmax Replenish is so much better than Max Knuckle. But like, outside of Max Knuckle, which is +2 attack, you don't have any offensive buffs, right? Which is, again, not good for a buffing sport. And it's not like your defense buffs are that great either. Like, this sucks, and this is not that great either, right? So you would have, like, he's just not that great of a, he's a support that doesn't do, he's just not good at doing support things that are traditional supports do. Now let's talk about the good stuff, right? And if you want to talk about the good stuff, there's one thing that's good and very, very good, which is the super effective up next effect to an ally. This makes sense so that almost all units in the game now can get super effective up. I'm saying almost all because the only unit that can't get super effective up in this game is Singsuit Red, unfortunately, because you can't run, unless you're co-op, but like, who cares about co-op? But in single player, you can't run 2 Reds on the same team. Yeah, and obviously all just normal units that don't have like other type, like a Norman, like he doesn't benefit from this. He can still get it, he just doesn't, you can't use it, right? Because all normal type moves which aren't super effective against anything. But outside of those, everyone can get super effective up now, and that's very, very good. That's very, very, very good. I would argue that Snorlax is probably going to be fantastic for short stages, right? Stages that you clear relatively quickly. Stuff like a Master Mode, right? If you, again, picking up offensive parameters, I think he would be fantastic in Master Mode, right? If you guys are struggling with Master Mode, I think he would be a very, very nice pickup in terms of just quickly clearing a Master Mode stage, right? Stuff he's probably not that great in would probably be things like full force battles. Not that we've been getting them a lot. Stuff like Legendary Arena, probably not too great in, just again because of the speed issue. Again, if you do fix the speed issue somehow, right, it's just really hard to run a secondary striker with him, which does bring your overall team damage lower. But that's why, again, I do think he's much better in Master Mode, especially what he does, I think, is he makes very, very powerful strikers, makes them overkill, which is pointless if you're trying to clear a stage, right? But it does make weaker strikers a bit powerful, right? For example, let's see, Guzma, right? Guzma EX, right? If you have Guzma EX, the great thing about this guy is he could help you clear bug weak stages with a Guzma EX. Like Guzma's, his Guzma sync nuke is not super powerful, right? His sync isn't super, it's not bad, but it's not like anything next level. But with it, super effective up right on his sync move, especially if it's AOE with a striker EX, that's an easy stage clearer. Again, if you're trying to challenge yourself, pick up HP parameters, much harder parameters to fight Master Mode in. He's not going to do that well because again this does run out, right? I mean, it's only 2 MP. If you Gmax replenish, there's 3 MP, right? If you get an MP refresh, then it's obvious he's not very sustainable, because once you run out of uses of you and me, he doesn't really do much, right? Like you could rock smash, debuff the opponent's defense, but like by the time you start debuffing the opponent's defenses, the battle most of the time is already over, right? So he is just not good for like difficult content, right? If we ever get that in the future. But here's the thing, we don't have a lot of very, very long difficult content at the moment. He is very, very good for the current for the current Master Mode stuff. Also, what I think he's very, very good in is Battle. This guy's gonna be so good in Battle. Oh my god, he's gonna be good in Battle. Because here's the thing, Gmax moves, or max moves in general, you can use max moves once every Villa stage, right? After like you fight a Villa stage, the next one you could use it again, right? And the great thing about that, and the tough thing about Villa is you don't get, if you use a move with MP, you don't get that MP back, right? Unless you refresh it with items or whatever, which you generally, it's not really worth it, right? I mean, you should use it. They give you one for free, but like generally, right? If you're trying to go for the metal, all that stuff, you don't really want to refresh. But tough thing with Villa is your HP doesn't restore after a battle, and your MP doesn't come back after a battle. This guy's perfect for that. This guy's absolutely perfect for that. So your optimal way of battling through Villa is to use units that can buff their crit, buff their attacks and stuff without going out of the way and using their MP. That's why stuff like Xerneas is so good. Xerneas uses their sync move to buff your whole team's special attack, so you don't have to use an MP on that, right? Like, for example, you'd have to use Singsu Lisa's MP to, special attack all to buff your whole team's special attack. In terms of Xerneas, you don't have to do that. You sync every time you get that. Same with stuff like Leaf, or units like Singsu Blue, right? It's his passive could buff your team's, offensive stats. And the great thing about Red Snorlax is Gmax replenish, you get 1 MP back on both of your trainer moves every turn. So every single stage, you get to use 1 free You and Me, which buffs your team's crit by 2. Also, 1 super effective up. And then you also get a mini potion all for your whole team. So it completely neutralizes the 2 difficulties that Villa poses to you. Because the Villa battles aren't hard. The battles themselves, each stage themselves are not hard. It's the entire grind, right? It's the whole process, every single stage. You can't heal, you can't, restore your MP. But with this, you don't have to worry about MP, right? Because you get at least one free of this every stage. And then with mini potion all, you have heals every stage, right? And if you have them gridded, mass heal, that's 30%. And if you have flag bearer, you also have this passive attack raising thing as well, right? So this is perfect. This is the perfect Villa unit, right? You run this guy with Xerneas, have Xerneas tank, right? Run Snorlax with Xerneas and then a striker, and you will breeze through Villa, right? Preferably a special striker, because Xerneas buffs special attack, right? He's a fantastic unit for Villa. If you are having trouble beating Villa without resets, right? With only 1 team, whatever challenge you're trying to go for, or any of the medals, this guy's perfect. This guy's a perfect battle Villa unit. You definitely want to use him if you want to try to go for him if you are having trouble with Villa. That being said, I do have some reservations about this unit, right? First of all, he's not fantastic, right? He's not like outstanding, right? Because the thing about him is he has one good, really good thing, which is the super effective up gimmick. Really strong, powerful gimmick. But outside of that, the rest of his kit is just whatever, right? Like, honestly, whatever, right? Like, the max move is fine, right? But again, the max move is good because you get to use more of his trainer move, right? But yeah, again, his trainer move is fantastic. Super effective up thing is, well, I wouldn't say the rest. The rest of his trainer move is not that good, but the super effective up part is very good. And here's something that I kind of worry about. It kind of reminds, I hope this is not the case, but it kind of reminds me of Phoebe. This unit reminds me of Phoebe a lot. If you guys remember, at launch, right, when the game first came out, or if you guys don't remember, you didn't play at launch, but when the game was at launch, the only unit in the game that maxes out crit in the game was Phoebe, right? That's why Phoebe was good. Phoebe was the best support in the game because Phoebe could max out your crit. Here's the thing, as we all know, as we all come to know now, if you compare Phoebe with any of the, top tier sports, Phoebe blows, right? The rest of Phoebe's kit is terrible. Phoebe's trainer move sucks, Phoebe's stats suck, Phoebe's speed is terrible, Phoebe doesn't do anything else. But at the time, Phoebe buffed crit for her whole team, which is fantastic. Max out crit, right? I mean, there were crit buffers with Maylene, but plus +2, right? Phoebe was the only max crit buffer in the game. And that was what made Phoebe so good for a very long time. Because we didn't have crit buffers. Because what did we get next? We got Hilbert next. We got Lyra next, which, remember, back in the day, Hilbert did not have grid. Hilbert did not buff crit at all. Lyra had crit buffs, but it was only +2 crits, right? Same as Metacham, right? Didn't max out crits. It took a very long time until we got another max crit buffer, right? I don't remember exactly who the next one is. I think it's, I want to say it's Sabrina, right? But anyways, regardless, so Phoebe for a very long time was very good just because of that gimmick, even though the rest of his kit is, or of her kit is pretty terrible. And I do kind of get the same vibes with Red. Again, I hope this is not true, right? Actually, I don't know if I hope this is true or not. This might be a good thing if it is true, but Red might fall off a bit of a cliff, although Phoebe does have a bit of resurgence with, Hoenn, but it's not because she's a great unit, it's just because she's Hoenn, and Hoenn has no supports, right? But yeah, that's the one thing I am slightly worried about Red, which is that this unit might be very relevant for a long time, because of the super effective up gimmick, and no other support in the game has the super effective up gimmick. But this guy could easily be power crept. Like, they could easily just release another super effective up support and be just much better than this guy. Because again, the rest of this kit is not fantastic. Right? I'm not saying it's like completely unusable, but this is not a really great kit outside of the super effective up thing, right? Again, there are good things here and there, but he could easily be power crept. He easily could be power crept in the future, which is the slight worry I do have. So again, I don't know if I'm correct on this. This is just a guess, right? I mean, it's predictions don't come true that often, right? But it's just a kind of a vibe that I'm getting from this unit, right? Anyways, in terms of, again, if you should summon, again, like I mentioned before, if Red's your favorite guy, if Red's your guy, Snorlax is your Pokemon, go for it, right? Outside of that, if you're having troubles with the Battle Villa, if you're having trouble with, just bodying through Battle Villa, this is a very good unit for that. You should probably go for him if you are, again, having trouble with Battle Villa. If you're having trouble with Master Mode, this could probably help as well, right? You don't have that many top tier strikers. This he does definitely help a bit, but you do also need to have very good team construction, right, to make him work. So there's that. But if you're looking for the next, top tier striker, the next big whatever, or not striker, support, right? He's not exactly it, right? If you don't have trouble clearing any of the content in the game at the moment, I probably would not be going for him, right? Because again, outside of that one thing he does, the rest of the kit is slightly mediocre, right? Slightly mediocre. And here's the other thing. I do think in the future, like, if you want both red and blue, I think there's a solid chance they're going to get rerun together, right? They could do like a dual featured red and blue banner and have like 3% feature rates. Although, also, word of caution, they haven't done that in a while. Dual featured Pokefair, so maybe they stopped doing that. So who knows, right? But yeah, I mean, if you skip him, I don't think it's the end of the world. He's definitely not a must-have, right? Definitely not a must-have unit. Right. I think the anniversary units are probably a bit more worth getting, right? Especially Steven and Lily, I do think are probably a bit more worth getting than Red at the moment. Just in terms of value, because again, unless you're fine with like flying type strikers and or flying and ghost types, but which I doubt most people are, because flying ghost types are not very good, right, overall, except for, again, Steven and Lily, which is why I do think those two are probably a bit more worth in terms of value wise. And again, depends on what your rock type strikers are. Blue would also be a pretty solid choice as well, but yeah, he's definitely not a must-have. He is very good for certain things, not very good for a lot of other things, right? If we do get new modes in the future that do require, that are some, if we do get some 3v9 difficult mode in the future, he might not be very good there, right? But otherwise, again, he's a good unit overall, right? I don't think he's bad, like, just even if it's just on his like one trainer move thing. Plus he has good defenses, right, which is something. Yeah, his trainer move is fantastic, I think, right? Again, for clearing content, I'm not saying he's great in terms of if you put him in a vacuum and evaluate him in comparison to some other top tier supports, right? However, if you want to win Battle Villa, if you want to win Master Mode, he is a very good option, right? So anyways, that's really this one. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Thanks for this video. For our channel for some more Pokemon content. Again, we will be summoning him when the reset hits, so make sure y'all are tuned in for that, right? I have notifications on to get there as soon as possible, and I'll see you guys in the next one then.